Have you ever looked at your life and thought, wait, when did I stop feeling like me? Because here's the truth. Burnout and compassion fatigue don't start with exhaustion. They start with disconnection. Today, you're going to walk away with two things that actually move the needle. A research-backed understanding of why disconnection in the body, relationships, and purpose is the real root of burnout and compassion fatigue in women healers over 50. And y'all, a simple chakra-centered reconnection practice you can use today to reset your system and start feeling like you beneath the stress again. I want to start with what I call the floating head syndrome. Women healers over 50 are some of the most brilliant minds on the planet. But our culture trained us to live from the neck up, thinking, fixing, helping, planning, with zero awareness of what our bodies have been trying to tell us for decades. Dr. Stephen Porges work his work with the polyvagal theory shows that when we disconnect from our own signals, hunger, fatigue, pleasure, boundaries, intuition, the nervous system slips into chronic survival mode without us even realizing it. And here's the kicker. When your system stays in sympathetic activation too long, the research shows cortisol stops being a helper and starts being a hazard. Long-term cortisol dysregulation predicts burnout more than workload ever has. Y'all, even your chakras agree. Your root chakra that governs safety and groundedness, that's important. And though that starts from your sits bones all the way down to your tippy toes. When women tell me I can't feel my feet on the floor, it's a big hint. Or they might say, I can't slow down. Y'all, that is root chakra depletion. And yes, sometimes the only grounding we're doing is through coffee and sheer determination, which is clinically speaking, not grounding strategy. This one hits home for almost every woman healer I know. You are surrounded by people, clients, patients, colleagues, family, yet not one single person is pouring back into you at the level you pour into them. Dr. Arlie Hochschild's emotional labor research found that women, especially women in caregiving professions, perform twice the invisible labor of their male peers. Twice. And in midlife, that road increases. But here's the silent grief I see in my clients. They don't have reciprocity. They have responsibility. That leads to compassion fatigue. Not because you don't care, but because you've been caring so long, so long. So we'll have a quick humor break, just an announcement in case y'all don't recognize it for the humor it is. But if I had $1 for every woman healer who told me, I'm surrounded by people, but I feel like the team emotional support puppy, I would have to retire to a beach with a margarita years ago, meaning I've heard a lot. Maybe that joke didn't land, but I've heard a lot. The connection isn't optional for your nervous system. Y'all, it's medicine. You've got to connect. This is why your heart chakra gets so depleted. Not because you can't love, but because there's no one pouring back into you with the same depth, tenderness, and attunement you give to others. Now, I want to go a little deeper. Burnout in women over 50 is not garden variety. It's identity burnout. Dr. Christine Mashlosh, probably slaughtered her name, research shows the heaviest predictor of burnout is not workload, but mismatch between values and the lived reality of your work. And for women over 50, this mismatch grows as your body changes. Your life priorities shift, and your tolerance for nonsense plummets. Purpose becomes tangled with performance, perfection, people pleasing, professional identity. And your solar plexus chakra, that's the center of your personal power and identity. Girl, it takes a hit. I hear it over and over. I don't know who I am if I'm not helping someone. I lived my whole life as the dependable one. I've lost the spark that used to feel like mine. This is the soul level disconnection that leads to the exhaustion you can't fix with a weekend off. Here's a 60-second reset you can do today, right here, right now. I call it the 3-point reconnection, root, heart, solar plexus. So with the root, you sit or stand and you feel your feet. I mean, you really put your mind's eye in your feet. You feel it. And you say out loud, I am here. I am supported. Wake up that amygdala. Make it true. For your heart chakra, I want you to place your hand on your chest. Slow your breath and say, I deserve reciprocal care. Now, it may take a hot minute to believe that, but you do. We can go to a whole spiel about how helpers have a hard time receiving, but this is a start. Hands on chest. Then your solar plexus. Place your hand on your upper abdomen and say, my worth is not tied to my output. My purpose is alive in me. See, your nervous system will respond immediately because connection is safety, and you're trying to reconnect with you so you can then reconnect with others. Okay, so that was fast, but here's what you learned today. Disconnection is the real root of burnout and compassion fatigue. It's not workload, although workload plays in, but you've got to look at that disconnection piece. You learned how the nervous system, emotional labor research, and chakra depletion all explain why women healers over 50 burn out differently. You learned a simple, powerful chakra-centered reconnection practice takes 60 seconds to help you recenter your body, relationships, and purpose today without adding a thing to your plate. Remember this, you're not burned out because you're broken. You're experiencing burnout, compassion fatigue because you've been disconnected from yourself for too long. Reconnection is possible, and it starts with small embodied moments like this. So y'all, if this resonated with you, don't skip the show notes. Take the What's Your Burnout and Compassion Fatigue Archetype quiz. It's brand new that I've dropped into the show notes. It's my most accurate assessment yet. It will tell you exactly which form of disconnection you've been living in and what to do to move toward radiance. You deserve a life that energizes you. So let's rebuild this together.